can be done. Together, we can embrace the potential of traditional medicine and create a healthier, more sustainable and balanced world.
Our culture and our land are in our bones and in our blood.
Traditional medicine holds great potential.
Let's recognise that these are our inheritances for our future generations.
We are part of the solution, one that will benefit all human and planetary health.
It's very hard to be healthy on a land that's screaming out for help. Humanity cannot be well when we're not caring for what looks after us, and that's our planet Earth.
For Indigenous peoples globally, our concepts of health are holistic. Our health is also dependent on the health of our family, our community, and our land, so much so that it cannot be separated.
We kind of lost the connection we had with nature and with different ways to approach health. It's not like you have to choose medicine over natural ways of approaching health.
I think it's important that we redress the balance so that it's not all one thing or the other, but actually that we can find a beautiful middle ground.
Medicine comes from a culture, from a geography, from a place, from a people, from a need, from a climate.
Traditional medicine matter to the people of Africa because this is our culture, this is our future.
I think it's important that we realise that conventional and traditional medicine can go hand in hand.
Today there's more reliance on Western medicine, and what we do need to have a really strong forward-looking, progressive way of being able to recognise the medicines of millennia.
Que no se pierdan esos saberes propios, nuestros, que son tan sagrados, que son tan nuestros, que es la esencia de la vida del ser misal, de estar conectados con la diversidad de pueblos, con la diversidad de nuestras semillas, con la diversidad de nuestras plantas, con la diversidad de nuestras aves.
Yoga is basically an ancient Indian practice. Yoga brings out the positivity from within, it improves our mental well-being, and it brings out the overall well-being of an individual.
TCIH is about more than just medicines. We need research on professions and practices more than just products.
We, as Indigenous peoples, know that our intimate and intricate understandings of our lands and our medicines have so much to offer everyone.
It's now time to recognise the opportunity that we have. It's time to turn on our ears, open our eyes, open our hearts, and understand where we need to go to together, collectively.
Traditional medicine matter to the people of Africa because this is our culture, this is our future. And for millennium, traditional medicine was used by our ancestors. Traditional medicine holds great potential, can play a pivotal role in advancing global health and well-being. Examples of traditional medicines from the African region include medicines for use for the treatment of communicable diseases such as HIV-related, and those for non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, sickle cell disease. Even if medicines are derived from traditional practices and deemed to be natural, establishing their efficacy and safety through rigorous clinical trials is critical to guarantee that treatment is effective and safe. The practitioners are delivering safe services and quality services. It is important to integrate traditional medicine into health systems because of the benefits that this integration will bring about.
I remember feeling really afraid 2 years ago when I was gasping for breath, feeling like, I didn't know what was happening to my body and I was no longer in control. I consulted lots of allopaths, the family doctor, specialists, they ran a whole bunch of tests. They said that I was allergic, probably to dust, but that it couldn't be fixed. And so I decided to consult a homeopath. He told me to start yoga. I had to incorporate exercises for my lungs within everyday regular activities. I have young kids, so he said, blow balloons every day, that'll help strengthen your lungs. And with homeopathy, it's mind plus body. So you're playing a more active role. You're observing, you're making changes, you're reporting back, you're checking in. And particularly pranayam in yoga, and to make sure that it's something I did every day. Not just to strengthen my lungs, but also to de-stress. This entire journey with traditional medicine has made me realize that there is a very strong connection between our mind and body. You have a role to play in your own health. You can make choices that impact how your body reacts or responds or heals. A lot of it is in your hands, and I love that.
The most stressful part of what I do as an athlete is that first round jump when I'm at the top of the runway. Being based in the UK, being born and bred in Manchester, I have certainly been brought up with a very conventional mindset around medicine and healthcare. I'd literally had 2 years of incessant injury, 2 surgeries within the space of basically 12 months. And I'd had enough. I really wanted to seek out healing, and that healing wasn't just a physical healing, it definitely was an emotional, spiritual, mental healing. Some of the important practices that I do personally to focus on staying healthy would be making sure that I go out and do my meditative walks in the woods or in the forest, even in the park nearby to my home. I think it's important that we realise that conventional and traditional medicine can go hand in hand. You can't keep giving, going hard 100% of the time, because ultimately you're going to burn out. I have this rhythm of rest, recovery, performance, rest, recover, performance that is part of my day, my week, my month, my year.
What has been for centuries the integral source of health for people and communities? What is still the first port of call for millions of people worldwide for their health and well-being? Its traditional, ancestral, and indigenous knowledges of health and the world around us, constantly evolving, in balance with self, in harmony with nature. But how can we harness its potential to help us address the health challenges of our busy lives? To turn the promise of health for all into a reality for all. To deliver people-centered health services that are respectful of cultures and traditions. By sharing our knowledge and experiences of traditional practices, we can understand, acknowledge, and advance its role in building a fairer, safer, and healthier future. respecting the wisdom passed down from generations, and embracing science, technology, and innovative thinking. Blending traditional and conventional, underpinned by robust evidence, innovation, new technologies.
If I could request you to please reach out and ask people who are outside to come in and take their seats. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just waiting for more people to join us, and we are ready to start the valedictory. So we've sent out our wonderful volunteers to herd more people inside the hall. While you're seated, may I request you to please keep your mobile phones in the silent mode so that it doesn't go off in between while somebody's speaking. And I think maybe you could give yourselves a cheer. You've had 2 intense days of a lot of work that has happened. So could I request you all to please put your hands together and give yourselves an applause. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We've had 2 days of intense exchanges, many discussions, and sharings of interesting and unique practices from across the world. The WHO Global Summit on Traditional Medicine was a platform for all our stakeholders, including traditional medicine workers, users, and communities, global policymakers, international organizations, academics, the private sector, civil society organizations, and indigenous peoples' representatives to share best practices and game-changing evidence, data, and innovation on the contribution of traditional medicine to health and sustainable development. We are now at the close of the first WHO Global Summit on Traditional Medicine, and are really beyond happy, actually, to have helped contribute to enhancing the lives of billions of people and making the planet better. It is time now to reflect on the continuous engagement and the high quality of discussions that went on yesterday and today. And we are pleased to acknowledge that a lot of ground was covered across the various themes over the last 2 days. The agenda of the dialogue is deepening, and the world is only going to get enriched. We'd like to share with you a very short excerpt from the Honorable Prime Minister of India's address that took place just a few minutes ago. And we'd like you to just focus on his words. So if we could have the video play.
The establishment of WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine in Jamnagar, Gujarat, is an important step in this direction. And the holding of
Everything is telescoping to this final session now. So
the establishment of WHO Global Center for Traditional Medicine in Jamnagar, Gujarat, is an important step in this direction. And the holding of WHO Global Summit on Traditional Medicine along with G20 Health Ministers meeting will intensify efforts to harness its potential. It should be our joint effort to build a global repository for traditional medicine.
Minister of India and his wise words and visionary leadership. We'd like to now request Dr. Hans Kluge, the WHO Regional Director for Europe, to please say a few words.
Our gracious host, the Ayush and Health Ministers of India and the Government of Gujarat State, Secretary Vaidya, Ambassador of India to Geneva, friends and delegates from all corners of the world. Quoting Mahatma Gandhi, the father of modern India, a man whose words continue to inspire. Namra tariki se ab dunya ko khila sakti hai. In a gentle way, you can shake the world. Well, my friends, after just 2 days here in Gandhinagar, the city named after the Mahatma, I think it's no exaggeration to say that all of us together have gently shaken up the status quo that has, for far too long, separated different approaches to medicine and health. By taking aim at silos, we are saying we will collaborate all the more to find optimal ways to bring traditional, complementary and integrative medicine well under the umbrella of primary health care and universal health coverage. Collaborations underpinned by science and evidence and safety. Collaborations that acknowledge the very real role TCI medicine plays in the lives, health and well-being of people globally. Health and well-being achieved through the principles of equity, affordability, and quality. In these 2 days, we have explored innovative models that combine modern medicine with various forms of traditional, complementary, and integrative medicine. Models that stand up to the rigors of scientific study and research. We have called for policies that promote standardized traditional medicine documentation and accelerate the use of International Classification of Diseases, or ICD-11, thus enabling seamless integration and evidence data generation within routine health information systems. We have reiterated how crucial it is to get better evidence on the effectiveness, safety, and quality of traditional and complementary medicine. That means innovative methodologies for assessing and evaluating outcomes. Controlled clinical trials may not always be feasible here, but by the same token, the same goes for many interventions in modern medicine and healing. For example, psychotherapy and certain forms of surgery. But what we do need is better data collection, getting the basics in place to be able to better benefit from traditional and complementary medicine. In a session this morning, a traditional medicine practitioner from the African continent sitting in the audience appealed for just this, for better data. She acknowledged that when the data are not there, it becomes far more challenging for traditional medicine therapies and modalities to be taken seriously by the wider medical fraternity. We also discussed how digital health and artificial intelligence applications can be at the service of traditional medicine. In this, I stressed that while this technology is a game changer for health as a whole, digital health transformation means using better data to better inform policy decisions, and not least to ensure technology does not leave already vulnerable populations behind all the more. Equity must guide us in all that we adopt and implement. Then the sometimes contentious issue of regulation of professionals, practices and products. Regulation not to pit modern medicine against traditional medicine, but to truly benefit from all modalities by avoiding harms, addressing safety concerns and not least unnecessary spending of money. Remember access and affordability, and Hippocrates, primum non nocere. First of all, do not harm. Finally, something that personally struck me through all the discussions I've heard, the need to respect one another, respect tradition, respect local culture, professionalism and practices. Yesterday, another delegate from Africa, a healer, made an impassioned plea to WHO to advocate with governments and ministries to take traditional medicine seriously by affording general practitioners the respect they so deserve. In so doing, this gentleman acknowledged what an important role WHO plays in charting the global health agenda, a responsibility all of us at WHO take very seriously. And what an opportunity with the International Conference on Primary Healthcare 22-23 October in Astana, Kazakhstan, to which all of you once again are invited to further integrate TCI medicine in modern primary healthcare. Another Mahatma Gandhi quote I appreciate so much, one both simple yet profound, says, Ap ajokarte hei obser bhavisha nirabhar karta hai. The future depends on what we do today. I came here from the WHO European region 2 days ago, primarily to listen and learn in modesty. I have listened carefully, and it's amazing how much I learned. My pledge today is to take all that I have absorbed to heart, to find ways to forge stronger bridges between our various disciplines, all with the aim of bringing about better health outcomes, not only for the almost 1 billion people in the 53 countries of my region, but for the entire world. Dhanyavad. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hans Kluge. Ladies and gentlemen, to improve the golden moment of opportunity and catch the good that is in our reach is the great art of life. As many of you know, the WHO had appointed 11 experts in health and well-being and traditional, complementary, and integrative medicine, public health and policy to its external advisory group to provide strategic and technical advice to this summit. And we would like to now invite the co-chairs of this advisory group, Professor Bhushan Patwardhan, who is the National Research Professor, Ayush, at the Interdisciplinary School of Health and Science, Savitribai Phule University, Pune, and Dr. Susan Wayland, the head of Cochrane Complementary Medicine File based in the University of Maryland School of Medicine. So both of them will share their reflections and takeaway messages from the multi-stakeholders.
Thank you. On behalf of the External Advisory Group constituted by the World Health Organization for the purpose of this summit, both me and my co-chair, Dr. Susan, are very happy to share some of our reflections. And thank you, Shama, for this opportunity. If I want to really capture the whole thing in essence, I remember what Sione, my colleague, started while moderating, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, you know. One world, one family, one future. That's the echo I could hear from all over. And it is extending further now when we were in the G20 summit, one planet, one health. That was the message which was coming in. And we thought we discussed here from one health to one health system, because one health is no more restricted only to zoonosis or to animals and planet relationships, but it is much more. So we are moving into the planetary health. And based on this theme, the whole group, along with some of the top editors in the world, we wrote a special editorial which was published in a journal. And today, count is 14 international journals have published it together, you know. And thank you. And so I'm not going to really explain more about what our thoughts are, but this editorial really captures the discussions and vision very well. The evidence-based traditional medicine and planetary health and well-being was also covered in yesterday Lancet, and today it was also recognized in the special news item by Nature. Why I mentioned this is international media and scientific community is also looking at us very, very curiously. And therefore the responsibility on us is even more now. And the science base of it is going to be extremely important. And for that, I think no better person than Dr. Susan, who is here. Before I close, I would again repeat the sentence which I talked in the plenary session. Traditional medicine plus conventional medicine is tomorrow's modern medicine.
Our pharmacy, we find all the medicine in the jungle. When we say that we wanted to save the jungle, it's because we have our market there, because we find all our food in the jungle. Please, if we are asking to save the jungle, it's not only for the short people, it's for the whole human beings. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jose Francisco Calice. Ladies and gentlemen, we now like to invite Dr. Tito von Schoen-Angerer, the coordinator of the People's Declaration for Traditional, Complementary and Integrative Healthcare. Dr. Schoen-Angerer is also the Vice President of the International Federation of Anthroposophic Medical Associations and the co-founder of the Center for Integrative Pediatrics at the Freiburg Cantonal Hospital, Switzerland.
Universal health coverage and primary health care. Promote a well-being economy framework aligned with the wisdom and values of indigenous knowledge systems that have stood the test of time, shifting political and economic models beyond profits to promote equity of access, shared benefits, financial protection and incentives, and adapting a lifestyle for the environment to make traditional, complementary, and integrative medicine a driving force in achieving health-related SDGs, planetary health, and well-being for all. Develop standards of the curriculum for continued training and education of traditional health practitioners for readiness for integrative health. Aiming for a universal undergraduate basic medical education by integrating evidence-based, traditional, complementary, and integrative medicine components, especially related to prevention, food, nutrition, lifestyle, behavior for better outcomes, including in the management of NCDs and mental health. Facilitate the evidence-based, safe and effective integration of traditional medicine as relevant into national health systems, contributing to achieving universal health coverage and all health-related sustainable development goals. Accelerate the appropriate evidence-based integration of traditional, complementary, and integrative medicine into national health systems and services by supporting countries to include TCIM in national health policies for the achievement of universal health coverage, to provide recognition and regulation of TCIM products, practices, and practitioners to ensure quality, safety, effectiveness, and access, and to support and respectively integrate indigenous practice, and for WHO to hold a forum to listen to indigenous voices. Redefine, where appropriate, laws, policy, and health services to enable holistic, relevant, evidence-informed, seamless choices with a transformative focus on prevention, maintenance, primary care, and planetary health. I was asked to give you my personal ad hoc reflections on this, and I think what this summit will help us is really to greatly accelerate now the integration of traditional complementary medicine into health system. I think this has created an enormous momentum, the summit, in this direction. And I think what it also has done, and you read it in this declaration, it has broadened the scope, really recognizing the contribution, not just for medicine and health alone, but for planetary health and healthy societies in general. So I really thank everybody for the joint work and the organizers for bringing us here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sean Angerer. We'd like to now invite His Excellency, Dr. Abdullah O. Alanazi, Consultant Counselor General, CEO, National Center for Complementary and Alternative Medicine, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Research, evidence, and innovation. Encourage and provide funding for more transdisciplinary, inclusive research, and develop appropriate culturally sensitive research methods, including for personalized medicine, while maintaining full scientific rigor. Accelerate and escalate the research, production, regulation, and formal utilization of evidence-based traditional and indigenous products in national health systems. Enable the appropriate use of digital health frontier technologies to TCIM and artificial intelligence, in particular, to advance digital health and people's well-being by comprehensive and thorough development of governance models, policy making, regulations, guidance, and science and evidence-driven knowledge sharing. By the end of this piece, I would like to thank WHO and the government of India to give this opportunity to be with our traditional medicine family. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'd like to now invite the permanent member of the Vietnam Oriental Traditional Medicine Association and Vice President of the Vietnam Science and Technology Business Association, Ms. Nguyen Thi Huong Lien. Systems.
Data and routine information system. Develop monitoring system and indication for traditional medicine within traditional national health information system, enabling the measurement and redirection of the traditional medicine practice within country and sharing and combining of the data across the country. Call for policy and promote standardized traditional medicine documentation, accelerate use of ICD-11, and just enable similar interrogation and evidence data generation within routine health information systems. Chair, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lien from Vietnam Association Traditional Medicine and the Vietnam Science Technology Business Association. It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to speak at this summit. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the World Health Organization and Indian government for the excellency organization of historic assembly, the first traditional medicine global summit, and for facilitation of our participation at summit. The World Health Organization, traditional experts and scientists and practitioners from all over the world present at this summit have strongly inspired share knowledge, experience, and future direction for further development and application of traditional complementary and integrative healthcare for public healthcare and well-being in the world. My team and I are strongly committed to one health, one earth, one family, one future. I am confident that with this strong message from Traditional Medicine Global Summit, we will work together toward health and well-being for all. We especially thank organizing team and secretariat for their hard work and excellent hospitality extended to us. The summit has been success more than expectation. We are looking forward to continue exchange on traditional medicine in upcoming time. I wish you all the best health and happiness and very success. Thank you for the attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nguyen Thi Huong Lien. Ladies and gentlemen, so that was the summary document that was presented to you, and this will be uploaded very soon onto your app as well as available on the website. Do continue the conversation and join your voices to this message that is being sent out. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, I share a fond quote. A pessimist complains about the wind. An optimist tries to change it. And it is a leader who adjusts the sails. The sails for this global summit were adjusted and maneuvered by numerous people. There were many cogs in this giant wheel, But the two guardians who stood out and are great motivators, visionaries, and gave us the belief to bring this event together are on stage. A big hand to Dr. Bruce Aylward and Dr. Rajesh Kotecha. The outcome and the summary document that was just presented is the essence of our findings and will contribute to a roadmap of our shared commitments and collective actions. Immense progress has been made, however, there are still challenges that we need to surmount. To help us chart this together, we look forward to the stewardship and leadership from both Dr. Bruce Aylward and Dr. Rajesh Kotecha to make it happen. So I'd like to now invite both of them to speak. First, Dr. Bruce Aylward, the Assistant Director General, WHO, Universal Health Coverage and Life Course Division.
Thank you very much, Rini. The first thing I have to do with a few closing remarks is to correct Rini, because I was not the great visionary who brought this to life from the WHO side. That was actually our Director General, Dr. Tedros, who did that, and I've been very much a beneficiary here today. Look, 45 minutes ago, Rita, you kicked off by saying we've had a fabulous 2 days, and we have indeed. And I can only spoil that if I do two things. Number one, if I talk for too long, and number two, if I attempt to sing any part of this closing, as Osi did so beautifully this morning, and our regional director did. Unfortunately, he's not here to challenge me, so you'll be spared any attempt to sing part of this. Now, all that said, there's three things that I do want to do, though, before we close. And the first is to share three things that I heard. The second is I want to thank a few people that really did make it happen. I appreciate the applause. The secretary certainly deserves it, but there's others certainly on my side who deserve it, and I'll come to that. And then the third thing, I want to share a few commitments from the WHO side. So first, a couple of things we heard. Now, we heard everything that was in the declaration or in the summary, so thank you very much. But in addition, a few personal reflections. This morning, I heard the voice of traditional healer who stood up and challenged us to take this forward. I want to assure you we heard that voice. Yesterday, during the planetary health session, we heard very powerful voices speak to the indelible link between our health, planetary health. And I want to thank the indigenous peoples who spoke to that and assure them we heard that, and that really struck a tone, as we heard earlier, gave new meaning to one planet, one health, or more meaning to it, and thank you for that. And late in one of this morning's session, I think we also heard an extraordinary vision for the future in the integrative medicine section, where we heard about a future which is not complementary, but in fact an integrated way forward. A wonderful vision from, if you missed that session, go back, find the video clip, and listen to, I'm going to get the name wrong, Gujarat, I believe it was the Dr. Gujarat who spoke in that 95-year-old gentleman. He gave a wonderful intervention. But there's so many voices like that throughout the last 3 days that we just want to thank you for. They were really struck a wonderful tone and brought that human dimension, which we sometimes lose, I think, in our summaries and declarations. So thank you for all of that. But then for the real thanks, normally, and we have 4 groups we're going to thank, Mr. Secretary, we would thank you and the government of India, but now we can't thank you. We have to go over your head, I'm afraid, and we have to thank your Prime Minister, which is an audacious thing to do, of course, but truly was the vision of the Prime Minister, who has given so many interventions and brought so much power to the agenda of bringing together traditional medicine with more conventional, or conventional is the wrong term, isn't it? Let's say Western medicine, to use that term for the moment. But through him, through you, the Prime Minister for such leadership, guidance, such vision, and of course to the ministers who joined us yesterday for the opening, the Minister of Ayush, the Minister of Health, and of course we enjoyed a tremendous hospitality from the government, the Chief Minister, the government, the people of Gujarat, that we must also appreciate. Now, as we move down that list, which is surprising, we have to thank Mr. Secretary, yourself and your team. What an extraordinary group of people that we've had the honor and the joy to work with. So thank you for everything. And in thanking the Secretary, I must also thank him for his patience, because he's had to educate me repeatedly over the course of the months running up to this. And thank you for the education, Mr. Secretary. The second group I would like to thank was, we mentioned this morning that there were 11 people who were so crucial to bringing this event to life. But perhaps the 11 people of the Advisory Council could just stand up, because I think most, if not all of you, are actually here. And Susan, that means you have to stand up, and Prof. Bhushan, you have to stand up. But folks, these are the people. These are the people who put together the program, the speakers, and I think just a wonderful event, the guidance you provided to us. Thank you so much. Now, I do have to thank, of course, thank all of you who came, who joined us for these 2 days, and have joined us, many of you, so many years ago on this journey toward integrating our systems, but also those of you here today have given 2 days of your life to share, to educate, to commit on the way forward. Thank you all, with a special thanks to the ministers who joined us, the deputy ministers who joined us, the secretaries who joined us. You are very, very busy people, all of you. Your time all is equally valuable, but there are certain people even busier than us. And to thank the excellencies who joined us to bring the top level of their government's commitment and ministry's commitment to this event. So impressive and so grateful. So thank you all for having joined us. Now, normally in WHO, we're not allowed to do this. We're not allowed to thank our own teams, but I keep hearing about this person. I can't quite remember her name. Some Shyama, is that it? Did I get it right? But I think we have to, folks, Shyama and also Rajesh Wari, who I think is here somewhere from your team, because the two of them have worked together like this. But Shyama, thank you so much for everything you have done. Now, you all know that Shyama is a superwoman. You've learned that by now. But, of course, even superheroes have people behind them, you know, that make the costumes and do all of that. And there was a very big team of people, many of whom you will never have met, but they did the work to get the programs together, to get you on airplanes, sometimes a little bit later than you'd hoped, and make sure you had hotels, etc. And somewhere they're listening, and I'm sure they would appreciate your recognition and appreciation for what they did as well. So thank you. And thank you for all the people that I forgot to thank, because we do appreciate you as well. The last thing I want to do in closing is just to commit on behalf of our organization, WHO, to take this agenda forward. We've heard, we've listened, as I said, we have some recommendations, a summary of the discussions, and we'll take this forward. Now, not just through our traditional complementary and integrated medicine unit. We have a fabulous unit under the director who's here with us and our unit head today, but through many other parts of WHO. Through the sessions that you've been part of, we've had directors from our science division, from our healthier populations division, from our universal health coverage divisions. It gives you a sense of how much now this agenda is not the agenda of one unit at WHO, but of an organization. We've also had 2 of our regional directors with us and many of our regional colleagues from our Americas region, our Eastern Mediterranean region, our Africa region, Western Pacific region, Southeast Asia region, as well as our Africa region. Again, just demonstrating the commitment of the organization as we go forward. We will also, of course, be relying on you. We commit as we take this forward. We are developing a new strategy, of course, for 2025 through 2034. We will need your guidance, your inputs, your patience as we go the right direction over the next 24 months, putting that together in 12 months. And we want to thank and appreciate you for doing that as we commit on our side to take it forward. We will, of course, take it forward through our new Center of Excellence, and again, appreciation to the Government of India, which will help us share best practice, look at that evidence, and all the other things which will be crucial as we move forward. And then, of course, we will all meet again, as we have committed previously. This has been an extraordinary 2 days, and we don't want it to be the only 2 days like this, and we are committed to go forward, bringing this and hopefully a much bigger group together to share so much around traditional complementary integrative medicine, but then most importantly, how we bring this together, evidence-based, as we've heard again and again, and best practice to the betterment of all people, the advancement of universal health coverage through a primary health care approach. So thank you all very, very much for everything you've given, and thank you especially because I said I wouldn't talk very long, and I think I've managed to break my first commitment to you. I'll keep the other ones. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aylward. May I request the Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, Dr. Rajesh Kotecha, to please address the gathering.
I also have this reservation about this visionary leadership, etc. So I echo with what my friend Dr. Bruce said, is all a collective effort and visionary leadership from our country also as well. So this is to be noted that I'm not a visionary leadership. I'm just following what is being told to me, and then I try to execute. My newly found best friend Bruce, because I saw that, you know, both of us have the same thought process. You know, the way I work, the way he works. You know, if I have something new, I try to dig in and I try to learn more, and I found the same aptitude in him. And we immediately got connected heart to heart, you know, in these 2 days. So thank you so much, Dr. Bruce. And also Dr. Susan and Professor Patwardhanji, you know, this co-chair of this summit and advisory committee, my compliments to them. I want to acknowledge the contribution of the distinguished experts and participants on the dais and of the dais. I also must acknowledge that here we have His Excellency Sri Indramani Pandey, who is the Ambassador of India at Permanent Mission of UN in Geneva. He is here. And I also want to acknowledge presence of Sri Jaykumarji. He is my mentor. Over the years, he actually helped me to grow. And of course, we have a big team of Ayush, my colleagues, Joint Secretary, and both Joint Secretaries are here. We have 3. So one is in exhibition, showcasing this exhibition to the G20 ministers. And all I compliment and I want to thank immensely from my heart to all the dignitaries, His Excellencies, the ministers, the delegations, and the participants from across the 70+ countries. Is huge. And you know, the word Shama, actually, you know what is a Sanskrit word? And Shama is the name of the wife of Lord Krishna. And she was very powerful. And because of, you know, the status, Shama is also the synonym of Lakshmi. Lakshmi, you know, Lakshmi is the, you know, in India, in the goddess of wealth. So Shama has a lot of different connections, but I must compliment Shamaji for her immense contribution, and team, Geeta Krishnanji, and yesterday I had a detailed discussion with Dr. Rudy, and then we agreed for, you know, taking forward this umbrella agreement of furthering our work with WHO for different aspects, including creating SIDA benchmark documents and so many other things. So thank you, Dr. Rudy, for providing this opportunity to me. Two things which is very important I wanted to mention that has happened. One is we all have less attention to this, but this team WHO and Government of India, they made it happen to have this conference plastic free. So there was minimal carbon footprint for this event. You may have seen that these the plastic. So we were able to save a lot of carbon footprints. There was no plastic bottles. And this is my compliments to the organization, the team WHO and team Ayush. So this is wonderful. The other interesting aspect is that this editorials published in 14 journals. So this is huge. This is something very, very important. It has a great significance. So the journals from across the globe have joined. This is very important. And then mention of it in the news coverages of Lancet and Nature is very important. So this is a big landmark, and I agree with Professor Patwardhanji. He mentioned that this showcases that the scientific community across the world is looking at this event and they are curious. So we have our responsibility is bigger, much bigger. So that gives us more responsibility also, that we have to be very cautious what we are doing and how we have to proceed further. So I reiterate the commitment from Government of India to extend all the support, whatever is required for Global Center for Traditional Medicine, because it is in India, and we are highly obliged and thankful to WHO for opening this global center, a UN office in India. We also had this, in this session, the draft Gujarat Declaration on Traditional Medicine, and as DG said in his speech yesterday in inauguration, he mentioned that we are looking for the guidance from these 2 days deliberations for two things. One is future direction of GCTM, Global Center. Another is, he mentioned that we also look forward for guidance for this strategy, TM strategy 2025 to 34. It's very important. So the draft was very well made, and we would like to, contribute also. So I would ensure with my team that we will immediately, provide some inputs so that it can be finalized very soon and it can be published as mentioned by Bruce. Actually, you look at the scope and the span of these 2 days, it has a great significance. On 15th of August, it's our Independence Day, and our Prime Minister spoke and in his independence speech about some very important thing. First of all, he mentioned about the traditional medicine and its impact. Second is, he also mentioned about this and acknowledged, complimented WHO for having this traditional medicine center in Jamnagar. He mentioned that we are in an era, he was talking about the globe. He mentioned that we are in an era where these next few years, next few decades are very important for entire mankind. Either we flourish and provide benchmark for next 1,000 years, or we perish. It is a very crucial situation. And because of this crucial situation, he said that we all should be aware about this challenge and provide our best for the mankind. So it was a speech, I still remember, it is a visionary speech. He was not talking about Indian people, but he was talking about mankind. in his independence speech. So from the perspective of traditional medicine, I'm trying to connect this statement of our Prime Minister, where we are now sitting in a very important global event at the concluding session, and then we were able to fetch a lot of important learnings from different experts, stalwarts, healers, academicians, research scientists, and practitioners. So, and civil society. So this is huge. And this learning, collective wisdom will have a great contribution that I'm very much confident about that. And that is the best outcome, what has happened in these 2 days. And I'm happy, I'm humbled from India, and because I'm representing government of India, so I compliment all of you to travel this far. And then, as mentioned by Bruce, we all are very busy actually. We are not just free people just to that somebody invites and we come. All of us, all of you, please, you are so precious and you found time to participate in this event is very important for all of us. And we value this, and your contribution is highly valued. And we look forward for, as DG said, the next second TM Global Summit somewhere in some other region of WHO. India will be happy to host again. And by then, whatever we have, we are discussing the draft declaration which will finalize very soon. And then we will have a benchmark that we discussed this, we told this, and in 2 years what has been achieved. This is wonderful, and I am happy to mention that almost all of the speakers have, acknowledged the active participation of Government of India, and we are humbled. We compliment and we thank all of you. Just to mention that how traditional medicine is rapidly growing in India, I want to share some interesting statistics that in 2014, we have a study about the size of manufacturing industry of traditional medicine, Ayush, and it was 3 billion at that time. And the study came out, another study came out based on 2020 statistics. In 21 it came out, and by that time, the size became $18 billion, from 3 billion to 18 billion. As per the projection now, it is 24 billion. So from 3 billion to 24 billion in 9 years, 8 times is something. It showcases, it's not Ayush, it's actually the contribution of the traditional medicine across the globe. So what I wanted to mention is, what I want to sensitize is that, friends, we all are stakeholders, and look at this, kind of curiosity, kind of opportunity, and kind of, our, responsibility to contribute for the planetary health. And this is the time, like our Prime Minister says, do or die, either deliver or then perish. So we are having in that kind of challenge. The another statistics is, it's interesting about the government perspective, that when the 2014, when our Prime Minister, have assumed the office, first time, now he's in 9th year in his office. The budget of Ayush then department was 691 crore. So it's like something 69 million rupee and 690 million rupee, not small, but it's not much. And in 9 years, it grew by more than 5 times. So budget of traditional medicine. We had received independent ministry, and then our budget went to 3,640 crore, which is more than 5 times. So what I'm trying to convey is that India is committed for the support to traditional medicine and taking it further as a science, evidence-based, and translating it to public and delivery system. Last statistics, I'm not burdening with lot of statistics, but there is an interesting fact that I want to share. That Ministry of Ayush has been given responsibility of having 12,500 health and wellness centers in Ayushman Bharat. It's like a catering 3,000 to 5,000 population in a very small villages. And we were able to open more than 7,000 such centers in 2022. And we got statistics from the states about the participation of the community. And from 1st January 22 to 31st December 22, we got the statistics. And in their 7,000 odd, only 7,000 odd centers, we got 84 million patients. So that is also kind of curiosity, kind of acceptance, kind of demand. All these things are there, and we definitely because I am traveler. Before I assumed office in government, I have traveled almost across the globe, and I'm sure, because it's my personal experience, that all over the world there is a huge demand, and there's a tremendous short supply because of either doubt or either lack of competent human resource or products. So there is a lot more to do, and I'm sure that WHO, because now WHO has taken up this task of doing all these wonderful things, and I'm sure that in few years the traditional medicine component from all over is not only the codified knowledge, is also indigenous knowledge, indigenous people's contribution, their acknowledgement and their rights, etc., and planetary health. So scoping is increasing, and then we have bigger challenge and we have bigger scope to deliver, and I'm sure it will happen. And once again, I compliment WHO and entire team led by DG, as said by Dr. Bruce, and all the wonderful experts, all wonderful team of WHO led by Dr. Bruce, Shamaji, and all other participants. My compliments, my thanks, and my compliments and gratitude to all other dignitaries, excellencies for coming over to India, and we look forward for your coming again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kotecha. Well, ladies and gentlemen, no event is complete without acknowledging and thanking the innumerable contributors and supporters, both visible and invisible. And to give thanks, I'd like to now officially invite from the WHO, the Senior Strategic Advisor, Universal Health Coverage, Life Course Division, and the lead for the Global Center for Traditional Medicine, Dr. Sharma Kuravilla.
Thank you so much, Rini. And colleagues, I think you will agree with me that we do have two visionary, committed leaders who make things happen with Bruce and Kotecha ji. And of course, we have the overall visionary leadership and inspiration and driving force behind this agenda of work with the Honorable Prime Minister of India and our WHO Director General. I'm going back to the beginning, and the Honorable Prime Minister often mentions Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, that the world is one family. And I just want to say to the whole of the Government of India, the Honorable Ministers, especially Kotecha ji, the Ministry of Ayush, that yes, the world is one family, but you made us all feel like India is our home. India is our home for the family. And I'm going to continue a little bit on this family metaphor. When the Honorable Prime Minister and DG had this vision for moving towards universal health coverage and health for all, they realized that for billions of people, traditional medicine is their only choice or their preferred choice, and that this could be a game changer for universal health coverage and primary health care. But then DG called me and said, okay, so we now need to set up this center. But Shyama, this is like my daughter. And I'm giving you the responsibility to take care of this. But don't worry, you've got the whole, Government of India. It's their daughter too. So in that family, I think, and right at the beginning, as Koteja ji mentioned, and I see Pandeji, the Honorable Permanent Representative and Ambassador from Geneva. I mean, I think in the beginning, it was WhatsApps every day with you and your team to make this happen. And of course, there were the formal agreements, but I know how much of a collaborative effort it was. And even now, the Ministry of External Affairs, and again, I apologize for, and thank you for your patience, but there were literally calls from Ayush Ministry to the Ministry of External Affairs to embassies in every part of the world, on-demand visas for many people, and the tickets, and it was amazing to see how this was moving. I also want to thank our core family that then made an extended family with the speakers and the participants. One is the External Advisory Group. You've heard all about their good professional and technical things. I also want to say sometime please get them to dance, because they're like expert dancers as well. And the core family that then branched out, I have to thank Pascal, Sophie, are you here? Narisya? Many of you, all of you would have come in contact with them. Please, there they are. And then, as with our family in India, we had the ITRA colleagues, Anupji, Joban, from the Ministry of Ayush. Right at the front on everything is Rajeshwari, who's become, I think we've said, our global event coordinator. There's Rajeshwari. I think every single decision goes through Rajeshwari to whoever needs to be brought into the decision. It's been wonderful to see the ITRA colleagues as well on the rapporteur sessions and so on. To bring this program together, I really have to thank Dr. Geeta, Dr. Ossie, who, as you saw, did this with a smile and a song right through. And then the exhibition, I do hope all of you had a chance to explore the exhibition. And I have to thank Laura, Beth, Ami, and Dennis, who I'm not sure are here, or they're actually on call, on duty at the exhibition because of the G20 ministers touring that exhibition right now. And speaking of the exhibition, when we started, I was sort of joking when our wonderful event management company, KIT and KMC in India, said, how should this exhibition look like? And I said something offhand like, could it be something like Indiana Jones discovering traditional medicine everywhere, but partly bring a spa feeling while you're doing that? And they somehow managed to capture that and more in terms of well-being and innovation and looking to the future. In fact, one of the points I'd heard from many people was saying, my goodness, we have innovation expos and other expos, but traditional medicine was cutting edge, you know, in terms of the exhibition. So at the end, I just wanted to say, and that with our WHO family, as Bruce has committed, with Rudy, with Kim, with the whole TCI unit, and with the new Global Center, and with so many of our colleagues here. I can see Neelam and John and Tanya. I mean, as Bruce said, it's the whole of WHO exercise and all our regional office colleagues. Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the participants, the corridor conversations, the conversations in here. And at the end of it, I must say that I started out this journey not being a traditional medicine expert. I still am not, but I'm very proud to be now part of the family. And thank you for having us all.
On behalf of the WHO and the Government of India, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your active participation and inputs. Thank you, everyone, for bringing your expertise and experience around the table and engaging in fruitful, constructive, and open exchanges through these 2 days. As we wish you a safe journey back home, In India, we normally don't say goodbye, we say do return, because this is also your home. Success in all you do, namaste. And as we play out the pictures of the 2 days, if I could request our guests on the dais to please move forward for a group photograph, and all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to join them as we stand up and applaud our efforts. And we have a photographer here who will capture all of you. Thank you. The Ministry of Ayush cordially invites all of you for dinner at the Leela Hotel. We have travel arrangements to the hotel available from gate number 7 at about 7 o'clock. You've got time from now until then to tour the exhibition if you haven't already seen it. So it's open as well. Thank you very much, and please ensure that you get onto the right bus to get to dinner or get onto the right transport arrangement to get back to your hotels. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and we see you soon.